The following program is sponsored by CBN.
Coming up, a teen is tricked,
What have I got myself into?
then robbed at gunpoint,
They start emptying out my pockets.
beaten for hours,
They was having a good time doing what they was doing.
and stuffed in a trunk.
At this point, they was going to kill me.
See how he escaped with his life
I better not say a word of this to anybody.
on today's 700 Club. Welcome to the 700 Club. Let's go over to the CBN newsroom for today's top stories.
Gordon, the Department of Justice plans to review local law enforcement response to the school massacre in Uvalde, Texas, after reports police waited too long to stop the gunman. Dale Hurd has the story.
New video from outside Robb Elementary in Uvalde, Texas shows police breaking windows and racing to rescue trapped children.
They're getting the kids out.
And there's new audio of a 911 operator on the phone with a student in one of those classrooms.
You have a child online. Child is advising he is in a room full of victims at this moment.
She identified herself and whispered she's in room 112. At 12:10, she called back in room 12, advised there multiple dead. Again at 12:16, she's called back and said there was 8 to 9 students alive.
A tactical team finally disobeyed the orders of local authorities and stormed the school, fatally shooting the suspect, but only after 77 minutes. Joe and Jill Biden traveled to Uvalde Sunday, meeting with victims' families and first responders. Some in the crowd chanted, "Do something."
Do something! Do something!
Biden responded, "We will." One of the victims, Eliana Garcia, hoped to be a cheerleader and was looking forward to her 10th birthday party next week. Her family says she loved basketball and TikTok, but most of all, she loved sharing the gospel.
Hey guys, I just want to give you a little touch up. Jesus, he died for us, so when we die, we'll be up there for him.
Eliana's family says they're taking comfort in knowing she's now home with her Lord and Savior. Dale Hurd, CBN News.
On Memorial Day, we honor those who paid the ultimate price for our freedom. Valor and sacrifice typically top the list when honoring the attributes of our fallen heroes, but a select few have found the strongest weapon against the enemy forces is the Word of God. CBN's Brody Carter shares the stories of those who've become missionaries for Marines.
The Marine Corps culture is one of service. One of the things that really attracted me to the Marine Corps, in fact, were the fact that Marine Corps leadership and values really are hand in hand with the biblical model of leadership and kind of the biblical character that God gives us through Jesus.
Lieutenant Colonel John Dalby has been a U.S. Marine for 19 years. He's served in 5 overseas deployments and remembers how strong the presence of God was for him in the battlefield.
I can remember my first deployment to Iraq as a young second lieutenant. I was quoting those verses in my mind that I'd memorized as a youth. Verses like Philippians 4, 6, and 7. Do not be anxious about anything, but in everything by prayer and petition with thanksgiving present your request to God, and the peace of God that transcends all understanding will guard your hearts and your minds in Christ Jesus.
You don't understand that? Yes, sir!
While serving in some of the deadliest regions of war, Lieutenant Colonel Dalby was able to be a force for good, leading Bible studies, ministering to his men, and teaching them how to live in relationship with God.
I mean, this is in Iraq, with guys who were going on combat patrols. And so we would just pray together, open the Word together. And so that was, for 7 months, I got to lead a Bible study in my unit.
For many service members, claiming to be a believer with Christ is common. Almost 70% of our military members claim to be one. However, living out and exercising that faith as a U.S. Marine is not.
Honestly, I was not walking out my faith. I was the one that was claiming to be. But on the inside, honestly, I was rotten. I knew I was rotten. I was doing everything but being a child of God.
Sergeant Major Mark Bird says he's a prime example of a service member who wrestled with his identity and his faith. That is until he was asked to be a missionary for Marines.
We have a gap that we want to fill within our ministry. Have you ever thought about missionary work? And I was like, whoa, missionary work. He talking about going, out in faraway countries. I never thought about that.
He was approached by the CEO of Ton Tavern Fellowship, a nonprofit paying homage to the birthplace of the Marines. It's a network of Christian Marines discipling one another in their relationship with Jesus Christ. Those who serve say its lessons are invaluable when in the trenches.
Service members in general, and Marines in particular, do have a unique need because you're faced with the reality that your life could be on the line at any given time.
Especially those that are professing Christians and really believe it. It's nothing more, I would say, sacred. It's nothing more comforting to know that my brother that fought to my left and right was a believer, was a Christian.
Through weekly Bible studies or informal gatherings around the kitchen table, Marines worldwide have been able to strengthen their faith, their families, and show their brothers and sisters in arms what it means to be a person of refined character.
As Memorial Day approaches, there are many loved ones that we have lost, and taking the time just to remember the sacrifice they made is really valuable for us.
Lieutenant Colonel Dalby says for those able to give, whether it be through prayer or financial support, Ton Tavern Fellowship has a number of opportunities you can participate and be encouraged by. Brody Carter, CBN News.
Turning to Israel, tensions in Jerusalem over the weekend. Israelis waved flags in support of their country and clashed with Palestinians. Despite some violence, there were no major incidents. The conflict came as Israel celebrated Jerusalem Day, marking the time when Israeli troops captured the city after it was held by foreign powers for more than 2,000 years. Chris Mitchell explains why the holiday is so important to Israel.
Jerusalem Day is marked by flags and marches by thousands of Israelis throughout and around the Old City. Many say the heart and soul of the Jewish people is Jerusalem, and the heart of Jerusalem is the Temple Mount. During the 1967 Six-Day War, when Colonel Mate Gore said, "The Temple Mount is in our hands," it reverberated through the Jewish people around the world.
Jerusalem is where everything started. Everything started here for the Jewish people. This is where we became a nation. This is the capital of our nation, that all the tribes of Israel united around it. Jerusalem is mentioned so many times in our Bible, And when people pray, they pray to Jerusalem. For us, it's really the focal point, really the place where every Jew feels that this is home.
Retired General Amir Avivi founded the Israel Defense and Security Forum, an organization dedicated to the protection of the Jewish state. A major step for that security, he believes, is more nations moving their embassies to Jerusalem, like the U.S. did in 2018. His group honored the nation of Kosovo for moving theirs more than a year ago.
It has been almost more than a year, I can say, that we established our diplomatic relations with Israel. And since that day, our relations went strength to strength.
Yet, while some nations have recognized Jerusalem as Israel's capital, other countries advocate for the so-called two-state solution. That proposal would divide Jerusalem and give the eastern half of the city, including the Temple Mount, to the Palestinian Authority.
You can't take a jewel and divide it. This is a jewel and needs to remain whole. I think that when people say we want to divide Jerusalem or we want to take the holy sites, they're not talking about a two-state solution. They are talking about destroying the soul of the Jewish people. And we will never, never let this happen.
Jerusalem's deputy mayor told CBN News the Jewish people have longed for the city for millennia.
To the Jewish people, his return to Zion is, we prayed for it for thousands of years. We were here physically, but we didn't have control of the city. And when we didn't have control of the city, we were barely allowed to worship freely. We were barely allowed to be here. And so to return as a free people, to rebuild the new city and the old city, to preserve the beauty of our heritage, and to bring worshippers from all around the world, pilgrims such as our Christian friends from all corners of the world here, so that they can pray also in the Christian sites. It's wonderful.
Chris Mitchell, CBN News, Jerusalem.
Here at home, many fishermen in the Virginia Beach area are familiar with Captain David Wright. He sends up morning prayers over the charter fleets as they head out to sea. Wendy Griffith caught up with this local legend.
Each morning for nearly 30 years, Captain David Wright of High Hope Sports Fishing in Virginia Beach sends local fishermen off to sea with a prayer.
A great and mighty God, we thank you for the day that you made for us today. We ask for your blessing and protection to be on each and every one of us out here on the water today. We ask you to be with us in the name of Jesus. In his name we pray. Amen. I hope you guys all have a blessed day.
Thank you, Dave. I really appreciate it. Amen. Thank you, David.
Amen.
Captain Wright says the prayers began here at Rudy Inlet during a particularly big tuna season back in 1991.
We were actually having a discussion about how good our tuna fishing was. And somewhere along the line, one of our captains brought up the idea of saying, you know, we should work together, but we should have a prayer in the morning before we start our day. I said, yeah, it's a great idea. I had no idea it was going to be me.
You said, Lord, here I am.
I said, yeah, here I am, Lord, send me.
High Hopes, it's more than just the name of Captain Wright's boat. It's the message behind every prayer that he gives and the feeling fishermen say they get when they hear it.
Honestly, it kind of gives you like a sense of hope that somebody's, you know, looking out for you, because I mean, when you leave the slip and when you leave the inlet, you're at, you know, the mercy of Mother Nature and everything. So it's always nice to know that somebody's looking out and, you know, praying for everybody.
19-year-old Haley Harris is one of the few female first mates you'll see around here.
My dad grew up as a mate where I am now and worked his way up to captain, and I was like, oh, that's pretty cool. That's what I want to do.
What's it like working next to a local legend like Captain Wright?
It's really awesome. People come down here looking for him, and I'm like, he's just 2 slips over. Go see him. He's the best. He's got a really big heart and really cares about your well-being, and like always cheers you up, puts a smile on your face.
Captain Wright says out on the water, fishermen strive to help each other. Today, we saw that firsthand as a fellow charter boat lost power. High Hopes was able to tow the boat loaded with fishermen to safety.
You're good, man. I'm gonna get you out of the tide line.
Captain Wright says whether it's throwing someone a rope, taking families out for a dream fishing trip, or throwing up a prayer, giving hope is the mission.
God told me many years ago when I started this, and I didn't know what to do, to pray, to say. He said, tell them about me. There's another generation of fishermen that'll come after me. And you know, my hope and prayer is that this carries on.
Wendy Griffith, CBN News, Virginia Beach, Virginia.
Those are today's top stories from CBN News. Gordon and Tara will be back with more of the 700 Club right after this.
Well, just imagine having your home and farm seized by the government and you don't get a dime for it. Well, that's exactly what happened to Craig in Zimbabwe 20 years ago. Unlike his neighbors, Craig did not fight the authorities or flee the country. What did he do instead? And how did it lead to a huge harvest? Well, Wendy Griffith brings us Craig's extraordinary story.
Craig Deal was raising his children on the same farm in Zimbabwe he grew up on, when in 2003, the unthinkable happened.
Well, Wendy, it was obviously extremely traumatic.
The government forced Craig, his wife, and children to leave their home and farm that had been in his family since 1948 as part of the government's land reform program, an effort to more equitably distribute land between black subsistence farmers and white Zimbabweans of European ancestry. He says he had 3 choices.
We could fight, we could flee, or we could forgive. And some of my friends, they fought for their land and ended up getting killed for it. Most of my friends left the country, and no answer is wrong. It was just a decision. But we as a family decided that we would pursue the third option, which was to forgive.
He kept going back to one scripture.
That scripture where Jesus says, if a man steals your coat, give him your tunic as well. And so for us, that meant if a man takes your farm, teach him how to farm. And that's what we did. And with that, the pressure lifted. There was a great release over us, and we knew that God had opened up an avenue for us to serve the people and to serve the very least of his brothers through agriculture and bring them the gospel.
Craig moved his family to the city, while about 12 other families took over his house and land. He then joined a group called Foundations for Farming. There, he began to teach the new owners, as well as other small-scale farmers, a unique way of farming that God revealed to the group's founder, Brian Oldreive.
He went with a childlike faith into virgin bush, into virgin forest, and he sat there with a childlike faith and asked God, teach me how to farm. And the two things that he saw is that there's no inversion tillage in nature. And the next thing he saw, there was this beautiful mulch cover that covers the forest floor. And that's actually God's mechanism for feeding the soil and protecting the soil. And so he went back to his farm and he literally tried it just without any tillage and no burning, which is contrary to the conventional way of farming. And he immediately got outstanding results, like a 10-time increment in yield. And so he knew that it worked. And he started then to grow it bigger and bigger. He knew that God had given him this revelation, not for himself, but to extrapolate across the continent of Africa to the rural farmers, the hurting, the poor ones around the continent.
The success of the zero-tillage technique caught the attention of the Zimbabwe government, which endorsed their method. And in 2020, the country experienced its first food surplus in 2 decades.
The food production has jumped 4 times, between 3 and 4 times are the official estimates of the food increment in year 2020.
The country's main crop, corn, tripled with the method. And now Foundations for Farming teaches the technique all over the world, with the main goal of sharing the gospel.
80% of what we teach is the heart. You will never get a behavior change in the village until you've had a heart change. And so that is where Jesus comes in. It's using agriculture as an entry point for the gospel.
Even with all the success, the Zimbabwe government never offered Craig any compensation for his home, his land, or his time teaching. But he says the way God provided, he wouldn't change a thing.
We have a saying in Foundations for Farming is that once I had a farm in Africa, but now Africa is my farm.
Wendy Griffith, CBN News.
What an incredible story of redemption, of forgiveness, of how God makes a way where there seems to be no way. Instead of looking at it as a problem or as, what has been stolen from me, to look at it as an opportunity. What can I do now? How can I give back now? In the scriptures, Paul talks about how the Christians under persecution in Rome were being given up as lambs for the slaughter. But then he has this wonderful phrase, but we are more than conquerors through the love of Christ given to us. So look at your obstacles, whatever's happening in your life, whatever's being taken away. Is that an obstacle to become more than a conqueror through the love of Jesus Christ? That love constantly gives. What a great way to look at it. We lost our farm, but in return, Africa became our farm. That's a great way to look at it. What a wonderful story.
Boy, it really is. Talk about living out the gospel. It's amazing. Well, still ahead, the chilling story of a plane crash into the Potomac and the woman who was pulled from the wreckage. And then up next, kidnapped at gunpoint, this teen was robbed, tortured, and thrown in a trunk. What was going through his mind on the worst night of his life? And how did he get through it alive? He's going to tell us himself after this.
Well, Gary had been tricked. He and his friend were lured into a trap by a car full of pretty girls. Over the course of the next few hours, Gary was held at gunpoint, robbed, tied up, and then beaten. And just before he was stuffed into the trunk of a car, Gary had one terrifying thought. Am I never going to get out of this alive?
I just kept thinking, like, how did I get here? What am I doing in this position? I'm just completely, like, helpless. I figured at this point they was going to kill me. It was just a normal night. I had my sister's car, but it was getting late. Just hanging out, then all of a sudden, you got these girls pulling up, and like they're flirting with us, and I didn't know where it was gonna go fully that night, but I did know that it was a good chance of us having a girl to ourselves. That was my goal. And then when it came that they wanted us to follow them back to their place to get ready to go to a party, I was excited. Like, man, even though I know I need to get this car back, we could spend a little bit more time. So, I was just all for it. We got there, and I'm thinking, I don't want to go in the house with everybody else. Like, I want to invite one of these girls into my car, more like one-on-one time. And so we was there probably about 20, 25 minutes. We hop out the car, and when I walk in, I see my friend sitting on the couch. I hear the door close behind me, and I feel something touches my head. So I initially turn around to see what it is, and that's when I seen the shotgun, just fear. They start emptying out my pockets, grabbing keys from me, grabbing my wallet, yelling, and my reaction was, what have I got myself into? It was terrifying. So I'm sitting in this single chair, and my friends are on the couch, and I was tied up, so I couldn't do anything. They just start like yelling, just asking us, what do we have? Like, we was teenagers, so we didn't really have any money. I didn't really have any money. And so they just started punching, just taking turns, just punch me in the face. It was also the girls as well, which just makes you feel even worse because you just realize how bad of a setup this was, how bad you've been deceived. I realized it wasn't so much about the robbing. They was having a good time doing what they was doing. They continued to laugh, joke, hit me in the face. At this point, I had been getting assaulted for hours. My face was bleeding, my eyes were shutting. I started realizing that maybe I'm not going to get out of this alive. And then that's when they took me, and I seen my sister's car, and they put me in the trunk. I'm in the back of the trunk, I'm tied up, it's dark, I'm beating myself up about how I got into this situation. I'm worried about how I'm gonna die, and I just started praying to ask God to forgive me for chasing after these girls. I prayed that if He gave me more time, I wouldn't disappoint Him. And it's just like God just started like whispering to me. He started reassuring me that, I still love you. This is not something that will make me not love you. Then that's when like my mind became more at ease. Like I just felt this peace come, and I just fell asleep in the trunk of the car. When the car stopped, I woke back up, and the guy opened the trunk. And that's when I thought they was gonna kill me at that point. The guy told me that I better not say a word of this to anybody. That's when he hit me, and I fell to the side of the road. And they got in the car, a car that was following the car that we was in, and they sped off. Yeah, I was just thanking God for allowing me to make it through that situation, thanking God for just giving me more time. After that long night, me and my friend, we did survive. We was taken straight to the hospital. What happened to all the people that night, everyone was arrested. Some were minor, so they didn't stay in jail, but everyone got arrested. And then some of the people did jail time. It been 20 years now. Getting out of that situation was definitely an act of God, and I just feel like ever since that point in time, I've just been aware of Him in my life, how He's just opened up so many doors. He's blessed me with a beautiful family. He blessed me with this dental practice in which I'm able to help the community. I know God heard my prayers that night. It was in the midst of just darkness, quietness. That's when I first heard His voice. I know that He was with me the whole time, and I know it was only because of Him that I was able to make it out of that situation alive.
Gary experienced the deliverance of God. Here he is in the back of the trunk of a car, and he's beating himself up why did I do this? Why did I get tricked? Why did I get trapped? What I was trying to do, get alone with a girl, that wasn't God's plan for my life, and here I am suffering the consequences of it. But then God said something wonderful to him. I still love you. I still love you. I still have a way. And God provided a way. When Gary was thinking, there's no way I'm getting out of this, God provided a way. Now, for many people, you want to blame yourself for your circumstance. And maybe you really are at fault. But here's the good news, and it is wonderful news. God still loves you. He still has a way out. You can still live for him. You can still have the things that he wants for you. You can still fulfill the plan and purpose for your life. You can still do all of these things. Why? Because he loves you. He loves you so much, he wants to be your friend. And that's one of the titles of Jesus, friend of sinners, friend to those who make mistakes, friends to those who do things they know they shouldn't do. He never stops being your friend. He never stops loving you. Now, Terry and I are going to pray. And this prayer is going to be especially for those who think, well, you've brought this condition on yourself. Just start thinking of the number of problems that can happen. So, you're a smoker, and now you have lung problems. Or you have problems with cholesterol. It's all related to your diet. Or you have this, or you have that, and the doctor's told you, well, you need to do this, you need to do that. Here is what God says. I love you. I'm here for you. I want to help you. I want to see you through this. I want you to fulfill your plan and destiny, that what I mapped out for you before the foundation of the world. I want you to fulfill it. Why? Because I want you to be with me in eternity, and I want you to have joy there. When you fulfill the plan and purpose, you're going to have a lot of joy. So that's what he wants for you. What do you want for you? Do you want that? Do you want that breakthrough where you can know with confidence that you're in the plan of God, you're fulfilling your purpose? To get it, all you have to do is cry out to him. All you have to do is turn. Just what Gary did in that trunk. He turned to God. He heard that voice. You can do that, and you can do it right now. Now, before we pray, we've got some other miracles for you. Here's Gary from New York. He had multiple allergies, caused tremendous sinus and digestive problems. Watching this show, he heard Terry say, someone else, you have chronic, and I mean chronic, issues with your sinuses. Constant draining. It affects your voice, your swallowing. Even your stomach is upset from it. God is healing that condition for you. It's just going to dry up. Gary believed God, felt relief right away. He can breathe better. Yay.
Well, this is Carolyn of Whitehall, Pennsylvania. She shares this report from her brother Gregory, who's incarcerated and suffers from a serious problem with his blood. He was watching the 700 Club, and Gregory heard you, Gordon, say someone with a blood disorder. God is healing you now. He's restoring proper red blood cells. He's able to heal things at the cellular level. Let your blood be cleansed and be whole and carry oxygen properly throughout your body. Gregory claimed the word for himself. When he went back to the prison doctor, his healing was confirmed.
Hallelujah.
Praise the Lord.
God is able. Just give him that ability over you. Believe it. That's how you give God permission. When you believe his word, he's looking for that. All you have to do is turn to him. So let's do that, and let's believe, and he'll do all the rest. Lord, we lift everyone in the audience to you right now, and we ask for healing. We ask for restoration. We ask for deliverance. For anyone, Lord God, who's feeling sorrow over the things that they've done, that their very conduct has got them in the position they're in, come to them now with that healing word. I still love you. I'm still here for you. I still want you. Let that go deep into their spirit. Give them the faith that they need to turn to you and believe. There's someone, you've got deep problems in your lung. Both lungs, you've been diagnosed with COPD. God is healing your lungs right now. He's able to take away all of that problem for you, give you full breath, full oxygen levels. In Jesus' name, be healed and be cleansed. Be cleansed from all of that. Be restored in your mind and spirit. Just realize today you're born again. God is giving you new life, new energy, new vitality for the plan that he has for you. Terry?
This is also a lung issue. I don't believe it's the same person, but you've aspirated some stuff into your lungs more than one time, and now you're having issues with your breathing, with your lungs, with infection. God's healing that for you right now. It'll be as though it never happened, in Jesus' name.
Now, there's someone, you heard the report about sinus conditions, and you're saying, please say sinus conditions. So for you, I'm saying sinus conditions. All of that inflammation, everything that seems to be swollen and closed up, open now in Jesus' name. All of the pain and headache associated with it, be gone now. In Jesus' name, be cleansed, be healed, be restored.
Yeah, there's someone else. You have an issue with your back. I'm not really sure what it is. It's not constant, but it is deep. Every time you move a certain way, it's almost like an electrical shock goes up your spine. God's healing that condition, setting everything in order as it's meant to be, letting all of the electrical impulses function as they're supposed to function, and you will not have that pain again in Jesus' name.
Someone with an impacted wisdom tooth in your lower right jaw, and extraordinary pain from it. In Jesus' name, be healed. Let everything present. Let that tooth come out normally. And in Jesus' name, all the pain, all the swelling, disappear now.
Yeah, someone else, you've had some kind of a chronic condition from the time you were a child, and it has caused you to feel like somehow God doesn't love you as much as he loves other people. Today's message is for you. Your condition has nothing to do with God's love for you. God loves you dearly, knows your name, understands your need, and today you are being healed in Jesus' name.
Lord, we thank you. We thank you for all that you've done, how you still love us, that while we were sinners, you died for us. This is the love that you have for us. We thank you for it. In Jesus' name, amen.
Amen.
If you've been healed, let us know. Let us share in your good report. Call us, 1-800-700-7000. And I remind you, we believe in prevailing prayer. So if you want someone to agree with you in prayer, all you have to do is pick up the phone and call us. 1-800-700-7000. Terry?
Well, still ahead, an engine fails and a 737 crashes into the icy waters of the Potomac River. How did this flight attendant make it out alive? You'll see for yourself, and that's coming up.
Welcome back to the 700 Club. Memorial Day marks the unofficial start of summer, with an estimated 39 million Americans expected to travel this holiday weekend. But it is not cheap. Gas prices just under record highs at $4.60 a gallon. CBN Europe has been working with organizations in Ukraine to distribute Superbook episodes to partner ministries for refugee children. One local Ukrainian refugee preschool has been using tablets to stream Superbook for children. The director of the preschool thanked partner organizations and CBN for providing Superbook and says, "We will use it in 6 preschools and schools for refugees from Ukraine, which will show them how Jesus loved them. And hopefully they'll receive Jesus as their personal Savior and Lord." You can find out more about what CBN is doing around the world by going to cbn.com/international. Gordon and Terry are back with more of today's 700 Club. It's coming up right after this.
Brittany is a 4-year-old who lives in Honduras. Every day, she and her mother have to make multiple trips up and down a mountain just to get water. And before people like you help this family, The water was so dirty that drinking it made Brittany sick.
Rebecca is a single mom who lives with her 4-year-old daughter Brittany in this mountain community in Honduras. Their only source of water is a pila, a cement structure made to collect water from a stream higher up on the mountain. But that stream is dangerous because of the people who use it for washing clothes and bathing. And getting to the pila has been difficult too.
The path is long. Getting there is very hard. You have to go up, then go down several times a day because we need water.
Even at age 4, Brittany seemed to know the water was dangerous.
Children should not drink that dirty water.
Unfortunately, they had to drink it. Then Brittany got sick.
She woke up and said, "Mommy, my stomach hurts, my head hurts." We got scared when she vomited through her nose. I was afraid my daughter would die. My daughter is the one who gives me strength to live. And when I looked at her, I was afraid of losing her.
The next morning, Rebecca took her to the hospital.
After she recovered, the doctor told me to put drops of chlorine in the water or put it in the sun to try to purify it as much as possible.
When Operation Blessing learned about the community and tested the water, we confirmed that it was dangerous to drink. Then, working with members of that community, we dug trenches and laid pipe that brought water from another source higher in the mountain. We restored a 15,000-gallon storage tank that had fallen out of use and added chlorination to purify the water. When it was finished, Rebecca said this was the first time in her life that Brittany did not have to go and collect water or drink dirty water.
My daughter is happy because she has water here at home. She bathes whenever she needs and even plays in the water. To the friends who support Operation Blessing, I thank you, and I hope you will continue to do this work for others too.
That thank you from Honduras goes to you if you're a member of the 700 Club. You're part of the whole team that made it possible to give them not just fresh water, but a whole water system so everyone can benefit and everyone can have a new life. And all made possible because people like you cared enough to give, cared enough to say, yes, let's make a difference in the world. Let's help people. If you want to be a part of it, give us a call, 1-800-700-7000. Just say, I want to join the 700 Club. How much is that? Well, it's $20 a month. That's 65 cents a day. If you're already a 700 Club member, consider going to 700 Club Gold. That's $40 a month. If you have 1,000 Club, that's $1,000 a year. That breaks out to $84 a month. At whatever level, when you call, ask for Pledge Express. That's electronic monthly giving, the bank doing all the work. And we send as our gift to you, Power for Life. So if you like that, ask for Pledge Express when you call or go to cbn.com. When you give monthly on the internet, you automatically sign up for Pledge Express. We have a new thing where you can text to give. You can text CBN to 71777. Either way, do it now. 1-800-700-7000. Terry?
Well, up next, 1 minute she was in the jump seat. The next, this flight attendant was in freezing waters, clutching the tail of the plane. Hear the story of her amazing rescue when we come back. On January 13th, 1982, Florida Flight 90 crashed into the 14th Street Bridge over the Potomac River. Kelly Duncan was one of the flight attendants on board. Kelly was also one of only 5 survivors.
I started noticing people on the shore, and they were trying to, they were yelling to us, and I remember just being furious. I was so mad because I thought all these people are just going to watch us die.
In her early 20s, Kelly Duncan Moore was a flight attendant with Air Florida. She loved the sense of freedom and control she had in her life at the time.
I don't want anyone to tell me what to do. I really wanted to be the one to make my own decisions. I felt like I was in control, that I was able to do the things that I wanted to do.
But that false sense of control came to an abrupt end on a freezing day in January 1982. After a long delay, Flight 90 took off from Washington National Airport with Kelly and 78 others on board.
I took my seat in the back jump seat, strapped myself in, and we started down the runway. Immediately after leaving the ground, the aircraft started to shake really bad, and the last thing I saw was a passenger in the very last seat. He turned around to me and looked very worried, and I just kind of shrugged my shoulders. And then the next minute, I was in a different, I didn't know what had happened.
The jet failed to climb upon takeoff and crashed into the 14th Street Bridge crossing the Potomac River, then plunged into the icy waters below. Moments later, Kelly emerged from the sunken wreckage. She held fast to the tail of the plane, fighting hypothermia and waiting for rescue.
I felt like I was just so confused, like what in the world just happened? And as the time went on, I started to think, I'm gonna die. That's when I started to go, I think this is the day I'm gonna die. And I remember feeling that God was watching it, and it scared me because I thought, why should he help me? I didn't know anything about God, but I knew that the way I was living couldn't possibly be considered a godly life.
After 28 minutes in the freezing water, she was pulled to shore through a dramatic helicopter rescue. She was one of only 5 people who survived the crash.
I knew when I got to the hospital that God had heard me and God was aware of me, and that's all I knew. And I remember that was the first time I really started to pray, but my prayer was just saying, I'm so sorry that I don't know how to pray. Because I thought, I know God hears me, and I just kept saying, I'm so sorry, God, I don't know how to pray. I don't know how to pray.
As she fumbled through clumsy prayers, a nurse came into her room with the answers she longed for.
She grabbed me by the hand and she said, little girl, I'm not supposed to talk to you about this at work, but I feel like I have to. And she told me that Jesus had done more for me than just save me from a plane crash. And as soon as she started to talk, I knew without a doubt that God sent her to talk to me, because I had been saying, I don't know what to do, and she was there to tell me.
As Kelly prayed to receive Jesus into her life, she felt something she'd never experienced before.
It brought me so much peace in a time of turmoil. I was begging God, please don't let this be something that's here today and gone tomorrow. I remember just begging God because I did not ever want to go back to not feeling his presence. Once you have felt God's presence, you would never want to live without it.
She longed to know how to live as a Christian, so once again she prayed. The next day, she received a Bible in the mail from a stranger with a note to read the book of John as a starting point. Once again, she knew God was with her.
God is so personal. He's making this so personalized for me that everything I need is right here in front of me. And it was just a special thing. I knew that it wasn't going to be up to me to learn how to be a Christian, that he was going to lead me through it.
She says God has never left her since the day she prayed to receive him over 38 years ago. And Kelly has never wavered in her faith, even through hard times and the death of a child. She says she's thankful God has walked with her and given her a second chance.
I had peace knowing that God was in control. The control in my life that I always wanted to have, that the peace came when I knew God was in control. And so I don't have a reason why God would have spared me, but I'm thankful. And even if it was just to bring forth the children that would come after me, and I don't know what God has in store for my grandchildren and the people that will come after me. God gave me a chance to be rescued, not just from an airplane crash, but to be rescued from an eternity that I couldn't have ever changed. And so God gave me a chance to know him. I couldn't be more thankful for that than anything.
We're such interesting creatures, aren't we? You know, we spend our lives wanting to be in control, thinking we're in control, thinking we've got it all together. And I'm struck by the fact that, and this is so like life, for Kelly, in 1 second that changed. She didn't even remember what happened or know what happened. She was just in the water, one of a few survivors. And then coming face to face with the fact that there was no control in her life. There were many things she couldn't control. You know, that's true for every one of us, isn't it? You know, we can't control most of what goes on around us, and yet we live in this kind of false understanding that somehow we can impact it. And when we're in that place where we realize that we can't control it all, there's a sense of there must be more than this. If I'm here and I can't control any of this, then why am I here? Who am I? What's the purpose? And then God comes after us. You know, I love that about our Lord almost as much as anything, that he knows we're out of control, but he waits. He waits patiently for us to come to that realization, patiently for us to come to the realization that there must be something more. Even though Kelly did not know how to pray, she knew there was a God. And, you know, there was something about that moment where God began to speak to her, supplied someone in the hospital she didn't even know to come right to her hospital bed, take her by the hand and tell her about Jesus. Then she wanted to know, well, what do I do now? He sends a Bible from someone she didn't know right to Kelly at a time when, you know what, she had time to read that Bible, didn't she? God's like that in all of our lives. If you think about it, he's been doing that with you too. He did it with me. He does it with each one of us because he loves us more than we can understand. Don't let anything come between the moment that you're to have with Jesus so that eternity is secure for you. Take time right now. Just stop what you're doing. Stop the rat race and begin to speak to him. Doesn't have to be fancy, nothing wonderful. Just talk to him from your heart. God will meet you right where you're at and lead you to his heart, which is the only place you'll find life. It's the only place you'll find a future, even eternity. If you need to pray with someone today, call our toll-free number. It's 1-800-700-7000. There's information freely to be sent to you, a friend to pray with you, but call now. Someone's waiting to hear from you. Gordon?
We leave you today with these words from 2 Samuel. The Lord lives. Praise to my rock. May God, the rock of my salvation, be exalted. For all of us here, God bless you. We'll see you again next week.